For decades, global trade quietly powered our lives, operating in the background as the invisible engine of modern society. Every day, goods from every corner of the earth arrived at our doorsteps, seamlessly and reliably, thanks to a vast network of ships, trucks, and trains. We rarely paused to consider the intricate, fragile supply chains that made this possible, until cracks began to show and the system started to falter. Today, those once strong connections are unraveling before our eyes, exposing vulnerabilities we never imagined. What began as isolated political disputes has now escalated into a full-blown economic confrontation, with global consequences. The once reliable flow of goods is no longer guaranteed, and the impact is rippling through American businesses, workers, and families, creating uncertainty and frustration. China, long known as the world's factory, is making a calculated power move, fundamentally rewiring the global supply chain and shifting the balance of economic power. The era of easy, predictable trade may be coming to an end, and we're only beginning to grasp what that means for our daily lives and future prosperity. The invisible threads that once connected us are being cut, one by one, leaving holes on store shelves, in factories, and in the routines we once took for granted. This is about more than tariffs or politics. It's a story of power, strategy, and the harsh realities of economic warfare playing out on a global stage. From empty docks in Los Angeles, where ships no longer unload their cargo, to tough choices at the checkout counter where families are forced to rethink what they can afford, the effects are everywhere and growing. The gears of global trade are grinding to a halt, and the silence that follows is both unsettling and profound. This is the story of a world in sudden, dramatic transition, a world where the future of connection, commerce, and cooperation hangs in the balance. The Port of Los Angeles, once a bustling hub, now sits eerily quiet. Dozens of scheduled sailings from China have been canceled, not delayed but erased from the calendar. Ships that once brought electronics, furniture, and auto parts simply aren't leaving Chinese ports. The terminals, once stacked with containers, are now sparse and deserted. Longshoremen watch empty horizons, their shifts cut short. Container volume from China has plunged by over 60% in just 2 years. Trucking companies and warehouses that depended on this flow are seeing business evaporate. The entire ecosystem built for constant motion is seizing up. For workers, it feels like a ghost town, uncertainty and anxiety replacing the 24/7's energy. These empty terminals are more than a logistical problem, they're a symbol of a broken connection. The quiet at the Port of Los Angeles is a warning sign of a much larger economic storm. The front lines of the trade war are right here, with real consequences for American communities. Part of a deliberate, long-term strategy to reshape the landscape of global trade in its favor. Every move is calculated, reflecting a vision that extends far beyond short-term gains. Beijing has strategically shifted its partnerships, increasingly turning to South America for vital imports like soybeans and other agricultural goods, effectively sidelining American farmers who once dominated this market. This shift is not just about economics, it's about influence. By diversifying its suppliers and forging new alliances, China reduces its dependence on the US, while simultaneously strengthening economic ties with emerging markets and regional partners. This calculated move further isolates the US, giving China greater leverage in future trade negotiations and international forums. Tariffs and non-tariff barriers now target a wide range of American products, from farm goods to high-tech medical devices, making it increasingly difficult for US companies to compete. Regulatory hurdles, unexpected inspections, and customs delays are forcing many US companies out of the lucrative Chinese market, eroding their global competitiveness. It's a multi-pronged approach designed to inflict maximum economic pain, targeting both American industry and the broader supply chain. China is no longer content to be the world's workshop. It now aspires to be a rule-maker, setting the terms of global commerce and rewriting the rules to suit its interests. By systematically dismantling its trade relationship with the US, China is sending a clear message. It has the power to disrupt established norms and reshape global supply chains. This isn't just a trade dispute, it's a fundamental challenge to the economic order that has defined the past 3 decades, signaling a new era of competition and uncertainty. The empty shelves now appearing in American stores are a direct and visible result of this strategic pivot, impacting everyday consumers and businesses alike. The global balance of power is shifting rapidly, and the US is feeling the squeeze as China asserts its influence on the world stage, changing the rules of the game. Shipping giants like Maersk and Costco are slashing trans-Pacific sailings as demand from China collapses. Sailing half-empty ships is a financial disaster, so blank sailings have become the new normal. Fewer ships mean higher prices and fierce competition for space. Only the biggest companies can afford to ship. Smaller businesses are left stranded, unable to get their goods out of China. The slowdown isn't just a response to crisis, it's making the crisis worse. Air cargo, once a backup for urgent goods, is now overwhelmed and prohibitively expensive. Even high-value shipments face delays, as airlines hike prices and space vanishes. The just-in-time inventory model that powered American business is broken. Companies can no longer count on parts and products arriving when needed. The great shipping slowdown is forcing a painful reassessment of how we do business. The adjustments are slow, costly, and disruptive for everyone involved. Air freight disruptions are hitting American e-commerce and high-tech manufacturing hard. With fewer flights and fierce competition for cargo space, rapid delivery is becoming impossible. Retailers' carefully planned inventories are stuck in Asian warehouses, leading to empty shelves and lost sales. Shoppers are frustrated, and retailers face financial nightmares. U.S. factories, running on lean inventories, are halting production for lack of a single critical part. The automotive industry is already pausing production and furloughing workers. The just-in-time model's vulnerability is now painfully clear. Companies scramble for new suppliers or consider reshoring, but these fixes are slow and costly. In the meantime, empty skies and warehouses are stark symbols of an economy struggling to adapt. The supply chain breakdown is forcing a fundamental rethink of American business. The US-China trade disruption is sending shockwaves through the global economy, affecting not just the two countries involved, but also countless businesses and workers around the world. International shipping is a tightly woven network. When one route falters, the effects cascade worldwide, touching every continent and industry that relies on the steady flow of goods. Ships canceled from China to Los Angeles mean delays for South America and beyond, as containers and vessels are left stranded, waiting for new assignments or stuck in limbo. Major ports like Singapore, Rotterdam, and Dubai are scrambling to adjust to fewer trans-Pacific arrivals, rerouting ships and reorganizing schedules to cope with the sudden changes. Less cargo means reduced activity and economic pain in these global hubs, with dock workers, crane operators, and logistics companies all feeling the pinch. The entire rhythm of maritime trade is off balance, creating uncertainty everywhere, as businesses struggle to predict when or if their shipments will arrive. U.S. exports are also hit hard. Fewer ships mean less capacity for American goods to reach global markets, making it harder for American farmers and manufacturers to sell abroad. Even if new buyers are found, getting products overseas is a challenge, as shipping costs rise and available space becomes scarce. Domestically, rail, trucking, and warehouses see less work as imports decline, leading to layoffs and reduced hours for many workers in the supply chain. American factories using imported components may have to slow or halt production, risking missed deadlines and lost contracts as they wait for parts that may never arrive. The ripple effect is a powerful reminder of our economic interconnectedness, showing how a single disruption can impact millions of lives and businesses across the globe. A disruption at the port quickly spreads, threatening jobs and businesses far inland, from large distribution centers to small local shops that depend on timely deliveries. The global supply chain crisis is everyone's problem now, highlighting just how fragile and interconnected our world economy truly is. The supply chain breakdown is hitting American workers and families where it hurts most. In factory towns, missing components from China are causing production slowdowns and permanent job cuts. Nearly finished cars sit idle, and workers are sent home, sometimes for good. The pain spreads, suppliers, diners, and trucking firms all feel the impact. For every lost factory job, several more in the community are at risk. Scarcity and higher shipping costs are pushing up prices on everything from appliances to groceries. For families on tight budgets, this inflation means tough choices and growing anxiety. Economic security feels more distant than ever. The story of China's supply chain power move is about the erosion of American stability. Global decisions are reshaping lives in every U.S. town and home. Walk into a store today, and you're on the front line of this new economic reality. Empty shelves aren't just an inconvenience, they're a sign of a system in crisis. It's not just a few items missing, entire categories are gone, choices are shrinking, and businesses built on variety are struggling. Lost sales and delayed purchases are slowing down the U.S. economy. This isn't a temporary glitch, it's a fundamental long-term shift in global trade. The era of cheap, abundant goods from China is over. Businesses are scrambling for new suppliers or reshoring production, but these changes are slow and costly. There's no easy fix. Higher prices and fewer choices are the new normal. The empty space on aisle 5 is a powerful symbol of a broken global system. Geopolitical conflict now reaches directly into our homes. As we adjust, the true cost of this disruption is being paid by ordinary people every day. The future is uncertain, and we're all feeling the effects.